Hey champions! In this video we're going to go over the basics of how to play Genesis Battle of Champions. We're going to start by talking about how to set up the game, and then we're going to jump into a few rounds. Alright, let's begin. Setting up the game. At this point we assume you and your opponent have already constructed your timeline. If you haven't, head over to our other videos to figure out how to do so. The first thing you need to do is you need to lay out the arena. The side with 5 slots on it face you and your opponent. After you do that, you need to determine who the starting champion will be. Most of the time this is done by rolling dice or flipping a coin. For this game, Raha is going to be the starting champion. So we take our champions and place them in the center spot facing us. The next thing you need to do is shuffle your timeline and draw 5 cards. So we've already shuffled our timeline, so we're just going to draw 5 cards. After you've drawn your card, you take any kind of counter. We're using dice to keep track of our health. So Raha starts off with 22 health, Malik starts off with 30. And then we need aura cards to represent the aura in our aura pool. Now that we have everything set up, we can begin the game. Genesis is played with a series of rounds and turns. Each champion and each summon gets their own turn, but the rounds are communal. The rounds begin the exact same way every single time, with each champion drawing a card and removing all exert tokens off of themselves and all of their ally summons. During a champion or summon's turn, they'll go through 3 core phases: the move phase, the main phase, and the end phase. During the move phase, this is champion or summon's opportunity to navigate through the arena. The main phase is where they get to play any action or swift abilities. And the end phase, they can continue to play swift abilities, but at the end of their end phase, they always become exerted. With that laid out, now we're ready to play. At the beginning of the round, the first thing we do is we both draw a card. So now we should have 6 cards in our hands. We remove all exert tokens, but since this is the first round, we don't have any exert tokens. Raha is the starting champion, so Raha's team always gets the first turn of each round. I start with Raha. I'm in my move phase. So at this point I can advance. Advancing is moving in any of the 4 directions, so to my left, to my right, forward, or backwards if there's a spot, and rotating. Rotating can be done 90 degrees to your right or to your left. You can also move without rotating, and that's still considered an advance, or rotate without moving. So during my move phase, I'm gonna advance once here. I can choose to advance a second time, but if I do, I skip my main phase and I go straight to my end phase. So instead, I'm gonna stay here and go to my main phase. During my main phase, I can play as many actions or swift abilities as I would like. So I'm going to start by beckoning my water elemental. It's an action ability and it costs me 13 aura. So now I take 13 aura and set it aside. Once the summon's beckoned, it is also exerted right away, so you can't use it this round. I am also going to beckon an air elemental right here. So that's costing me another 13. 3, 10. And it is also exerted. There's nothing more I want to do, so then I will end my turn by exerting myself. And now it's Malik's turn. So during Malik's move phase, Malik's gonna advance 2 spots forward and go straight to his end phase. During his end phase, he can still do swift abilities, and his basic attack 2 is a swift ability. So he's going to pay the cost of that by exerting himself and dealing 2 damage to my water elemental, leaving it at 1 health. Now that everything's exerted, that's the end of the first round. So we start the second round by drawing a card, removing all exert tokens from ourselves and all of our summons. And now we can go into the turns. Raha's the starting champion, so her team gets the first turn of the round. I can choose either the Water Elemental, Raha, or Air Elemental to take the turn. I'm going to choose Air Elemental to take its turn. During its turn, it has the same phases as Raha. So during the move phase, Air Elemental is going to advance once, advance twice, and rotate in this case. And then during its end phase, it's going to use Air Attack 3 to deal 3 damage to Malik by exerting itself. Malik's now at 27, and now it's Malik's turn. So the turn order here goes, Raha's team takes 1 turn, then Malik's team will take a turn. Then it'll go back to Raha's team, and then back to Malik's. You keep going back and forth until everything's exerted. If one team is fully exerted before the other, then the other team just keeps on going until everything becomes exerted. So now it's Malik's turn. Malik's going to start by placing a Death Eater right behind him. So the beckon cost for a Death Eater is 3 health. Death Eater has this ability, Death Touch. When it enters the arena, it kills target summon with remaining health 3 or less. So it's going to target the Air Elemental and kill the Air Elemental right away. Now it's still Malik's turn. Malik's going to continue its turn by attacking the Water Elemental for 2. So paying the cost of Exert and doing the attack for 2. Water Elemental has this Swift Water Attack ability. Swift abilities are special in the case that they can be done in response to any other ability. So the Water Elemental is going to do its Water Attack 3 to Malik. That's going to resolve first, dealing 3 damage to Malik. And then Malik's attack is going to resolve, killing the Water Elemental. Malik's now exerted. His turn's over. Now it's Raha's turn. Raha's going to move forward 1 spot and cast Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning costs 17 aura. So 2, 5, 17. That gets set aside. It deals 3 damage to a target within Chain Lightning's awareness. Then 2 damage to any target around that target. So 2 to Death Eater. And then 1 more damage to someone around the second target. So back to Malik. So Malik got hit for 4. Death Eater got hit for 2. And now Raha's going to use her Range Attack 2 ability, targeting the Death Eater for 2, killing the Death Eater, and exerting herself. And that's the end of the second round. Rounds continue like this until one champion is able to bring their opponent's health down to 0, or their opponent runs out of the cards in their timeline. Now you know how to play the game. You can join the fight and learn more about the game at www.genesisbattleofchampions.com.